Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today on the Financial Coffee channel. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow. It's cow time.
Presidents from Thomas Jefferson on have exercised some kind of impoundment authority. Trump can't be forced by Congress to spend money unconstitutionally. You can't say, here's $100 million, only hire white people. He can't be forced by Congress to use money to interfere with national security and foreign policy goals of the presidency. And I think that the president has the right also to pause spending, as he has, and say, I can find ways to spend taxpayer dollars more efficiently. If Congress says build a bridge for $1 billion and Trump can say, I can build it for $500 million instead, I think the Constitution gives the president that kind of discretion.
Well, guess what, people? President Trump is thinking about sending every American a massive, huge refund check.
So my girl came home last night talking about it to me, and she sent me a whole video about it, how some guy tweeted to Elon, like, hey, Elon, since, you're fighting all this money, you're saving all this money, can you, refund maybe 20% of it back to the American people? And Elon was like, let me talk to the president about it. And then now Trump is just like, you know what? They're saving almost, $7 trillion with what Elon and everybody, or what Doge is doing. So they're going to send some of it back to us. And the rest of it, they're going to use to pay off the debt. Which, to me, is fair. And it was, to me, whoever requested that request was a legitimate request, right? I thought that was. We've been screwed over all these years with all this money being spent. Can we get some of it back?
We are talking about $5,000. Yes, $5,000, 5 G's. Now, how is he planning to do it? There are two key words to remember here: impoundment and dividend. Impoundment is a word that I just learned, just like many of you watching right now. The other key word is dividend, as in Doge dividend. We all know what a dividend is, but what is impoundment? Well, let's find out from Trump himself.
For 200 years under our system of government, it was undisputed that the president had the constitutional power to stop unnecessary spending through what is known as impoundment. Very simply, this meant that if Congress provided more funding than was needed to run the government, the president could refuse to waste the extra funds and instead return the money to the general treasury. Thomas Jefferson famously used this power, as did many other presidents, until it was wrongfully curtailed by the Impoundment Control Act of 1974. Not a very good act. I will then use the president's long-recognized impoundment power to squeeze the bloated federal bureaucracy for massive savings. This will be in the form of tax reductions for you. This will help quickly to stop inflation and slash the deficit, reasserting the president's historic impoundment authority.
I don't know how much is going to stop inflation. It might slow it down.
Will also restore critical negotiating leverage with Congress to keep spending under control. Very simple. We're going to keep spending under control. This is the only way we will ever return a balanced budget. Impoundment. This policy is anti-inflation, anti-swamp, anti-globalist, and it's pro-growth, pro-taxpayer, pro-American, and pro-freedom.
Doge dividend checks. He can even sign them if he wants to. I know he likes to sign them. If Trump was running for re-election, he'd win in a landslide. And these aren't stimmy checks, like where we printed money and mailed them out. These are savings. Costs us nothing.
That's the biggest difference, right? It's not just printed money. It's money that the government was wasting.
It's a dividend payment that Americans deserve. We'll take the billions being spent on migrant DEI and exchanges for Cambodian climate psychiatrists and just give them...
Hey! We might need those Cambodian climate psychiatrists. We don't know.
Money back to the people. How could anybody be against that? How could Democrats fight that? Giving hardworking families rebate checks from Doge savings.
As you would have predicted, Democrats are already fighting the idea of sending a massive refund to the American people. But why would they do it? I mean, aren't they elected to fight for the American people? Let me tell you why they are fighting it. They don't want Trump to get all the praise and all the credit for doing something good for the American people. Plus,
True.
Democrats only give you anything when they need your vote.
Rush vote, you know what? If Congress says build a bridge for $1 billion and Mr. Trump says, no, I can do it cheaper at $500 million,
That's the same.
why not impound the unused $500 million?
Well, look, Larry, the president has recognized that 200 years of presidents had the ability to impound funds, and as a result, we're able to do a far better job of being able to control costs. And what we see at the end of the fiscal year is agencies have the normal bureaucracy approach to use it or lose it. But what the Impoundment Control Act does is come on and say, look, if you're trying to save money in the end of the fourth quarter and do things smartly, oh my gosh, that's something that is a violation of the Impoundment Control Act. And
It doesn't make sense that we're just going to let them spend as much as they want. Can't we rein
we see at the
things
end of the
in?
fourth quarter is flat screen TVs and copy machines in the halls of every agency because they're just trying to push it out the door. The president is well aware of the authority that other presidents have had, and he has put forward on the campaign trail ideas on that front. We don't have anything to announce today, but this is certainly something he's well aware of the power that should exist.
I mean, $5,000 that isn't printed to every household is a lot of money, right? And again, not printed money. Printed money, oh my God, that's inflation up the wazoo.
This with the executive branch.
And listen, right at the heart of this is a fundamental dispute about presidential power that is built into the Constitution, which is a long-standing power of the president that is called impoundment. Impoundment is when the chief executive declines to spend money that Congress has appropriated. Impoundments existed for a long time. The first president to exercise the impoundment power was Thomas Jefferson in 1801, and Republicans and Democrats have exercised the impoundment power for centuries. I believe what the Trump administration is doing is engaging in a systematic litigation strategy to return the constitutional power of impoundment to the president. Doing so would be very, very good for reining in the out-of-control spending we're seeing.
Who put the act to where they couldn't do it? Which party did that?
The Doge committee found an epic, massive, huge fraud on Social Security. They actually found that Social Security is paying people that are way over 200 years old. Yes, you heard that right. People who are over 200 years old were getting checks from Social Security. How in the world is that possible? I don't know. I have no clue. Now,
Have we been paying these people for like 100 years?
let's hear from the president.
But people that live to 100 to 109, 4,734,000. Wow, that's a lot. That means over 100 years.
Where's the money going? Who's cashing these checks? Holy cow. Look at this. 6 million, 4 million, 3 million. This is a for sure no. Maybe there's this, maybe. But anything this, that's a no. Come on.
Old. They have 4 million people. I don't know too many. I know people that are doing great in their 90s, but not too many people over 100. But over 120, from 120 years old, people that are 120 years old up to 129, 3,472,000 people. Wow. You know that can't possibly be, because the record is like, I think it's one person, a woman, lived to 127, but they have 3,472. Okay, but now we're going really in.
That's crazy.
People from 130 years old to 139-year-old.
There's even more of them.
3,936,000. Wow. I wonder if people are getting paid with all this. I mean, are these checks, and that's what we're checking right now. People
Correct.
from 140 years old to 149 years old, 3,542,000.
The numbers don't even make
140
sense.
years old.
They need some Asians in this department right here to fix up this math.
And beyond. Now we're really going, because we're looking to break the record by 25 years. People from 150 years old to 159 years old, 1,345,000. These are in the. By the way, these are in the computer files. This is what they do well. It's simple. Wait a minute. People from 160 years old to 169 years, 121,000.
That's when the number drops off.
160-year-old people.
That's when they're dying.
170 to 179,000, 6,087. But now, let's go into the real numbers. From 200 to 209 years old, 879 people. From 210 years old, I haven't met any of them.
Guys, 800 people are getting paychecks for
bless
this.
them. I would worship the ground they walk on. 210 to 219 years, 866. From 220 years old to 229 years old, 1,039. And then you have two people from 240 years old to 249 years old, one person. And there's one person that's 360 years old. That's just that.
Do you guys know that some refugees, when they come to the US, receive way more benefits than US taxpayers who have worked their whole life? That's really unfair, to be honest with you. Marco Rubio, a former US Senator from Florida and now the US Secretary of State, is about to tell us a story. Let's watch it.
I see a lot in South Florida are people that have been in this country, they maybe came from Cuba 45 years ago. They've worked here their entire lives. They retire. They get $800, $900, $1,000 a month from Social Security. And then they run into somebody who just got here from Cuba 3 months ago, is 29 years old, doesn't work, and is given $1,500 a month in benefits by our government because they're refugees. That refugee...
I wish my family kind of got that kind of money as refugees. We just got here when we came here. My family came here in the 80s. My aunts just came here with whatever they had, and then the government kind of just put them in certain areas, and then church people sponsored a lot of my family members, different churches and stuff like that. They didn't give us any money. I think they gave everybody like $100. I think that's what I remember. Well, my aunts and my dad was telling me about this.
A year later, is traveling back to Cuba 15 times. So you're a refugee fleeing oppression from a place that you now go back and visit 15 times the following year. And in the meantime, we're giving you Medicaid, food stamps, health care for your children, cash payments from the refugee fund. So imagine if you've been working here for 40 years and your Social Security check is smaller than the benefits going to a 28-year-old able-bodied person who just got here. That's real. That happens. That's happening every day. That makes no sense.
Like, to me, I understand the side of refugees, why people want to come here, which is wonderful because this country is wonderful, right? There's so many opportunities. You can literally live out the American dream as my family has, and I've seen many others have. But you gotta come here legally. That's all we care about, and stop giving these people money for coming here. What about all the people that work so hard to keep this country afloat, to pay the taxes, to do all these things? Why don't we deserve anything? We're U.S. citizens. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that.